Today I have a very special guest, a friend of mine. So please put your hands together for the talented and very funny Scott Baio. The one thing I have to ask you is that factchecker.org has Trump lying way more than Hillary. So why is Hillary getting all the lying, this lying thing when it's been proven that Trump lies more?
What is Trump lying about?
Well, the things that he said, he's lied about it. What do you think? Because I know you defended him saying, those comments from Access Hollywood and said, well, that's just, any guy that we hang out with talks like that and people should grow up.
Yeah. What's your question?
But I do want to ask you, and Scott, I'm not ambushing you because I'm just asking on what that you had said, because I do want to remain friends with you, but because you are a cool dude, and you and I have a lot of laughs. Yeah, I mean, I've hung out with Donald, so you got to hang out with him and everything, right? And he's I mean, he is a good guy when you hang out with him, look, I don't claim to be a political pundit, and nor do I want to be.
Yeah, anyway, John, you want to continue this? Let's do it another day.
No. I just want to talk about the NFL.
What about it?
But I mean, look, Hillary hasn't been put in jail. That's what I try to say. But he said James told me or whatever. This guy, and I really mean this, Heather. Why, just because of your political beliefs, could you not be friends with somebody? I don't get it. Saying I haven't because I hang out with Scott. Is it okay that we mention the place that we hang out at?
No.
Now, Scott and I just had a nice conversation. I don't know if he's still friends with me. I'll see when I go to the cigar bar that we hang out at. Well, one of the big lies, I think, Scott, is when he was on Howard Stern, he supported going into Iraq. What was that? Hello? Oh, did Scott just hang up? Today I have a very special guest, a friend of mine. So please put your hands together for the talented and very funny Scott Baio.
Hey, John. Thank you. I'm putting my hands together. Nobody's doing it.
First of all, Scott, before we get started on Trump, like we said, we talk about, I do want to say, and I haven't because I hang out with Scott. Is it okay that we mention the place that we hang out at?
No.
Okay, I won't. But we hang out at a place, I never told you this, Scott, but I have to tell you now, Bugsy Malone goes down as one of my favorite movies in the world.
Well, I appreciate that, John. I mean, listen, that movie's 43 years old, and it's my daughter watches it, and I tell you what, man, it still holds up. It's just a great little movie, and God Almighty, I just was going through my TiVo list the other day, and it's still in there. So thank you very much. That was actually, I shot that in England when I was 13 years old.
Yeah, I know, and I have not only did I play that for all my kids. They all loved it. When I was dating a girl from the Channel 9 show, with Howard, she knew what a fan of the soundtrack I was, that she went and got the actual album. She had to order it from England for me.
Yeah, it was hard. The movie was hard to get for a while, but it's so funny because I was somewhere. Oh God, I wish I could remember where I was, and I ran into Paul Williams, and I went, oh my God, Paul. He's like, oh, how are you? And this and that. So, and we talked occasionally. He did all the music, obviously. And I remember I met him in England when we were shooting that movie. It was, listen, it's a great memory for me. It was a fantastic project to work on with Alan Parker and, other guys and girls. So
yeah, and with Jodie Foster.
Of course, Jodie Foster. What has she done? Did she do anything after that movie?
My name is Tallulah. My first rule of fun.
Yeah.
Dude, Scott, I could sing you almost half the freaking soundtrack without even looking at words.
I tell you what, it's so funny that you say that because I got invited to a screening of Zapped. I don't know if you remember that movie I did back in 1981. And Eli Roth, who directed Hostel and among other things, and a very good director, he invited me to it. He took over a theater in Hollywood, and he invited me. My baby was just born; she was a couple of months old, and I didn't know he was a huge fan of the movie, and I'm sitting in front of him in full screening at this theater. Must have been 500 people. He's singing the songs, he's saying the dialogue. I went, Eli, really? You're killing me. What kind of childhood?
So you want to be a boxer?
Yeah, right. Right.
We could have been anything that we wanted to be. You know what? I'll tell you, Scott. I think Axl Rose kind of copped some of that, some of the nuances of how some of those songs went, like go down, 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 down. You know, I think Axl Rose kind of like stole some of that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Guns N' Roses in Bugsy Malone. If you really if you play it backwards, John, it's all Guns N' Roses.
Now, the other thing I want to say, obviously Scott Baio from Happy Days, and Joni Loves Chachi, and I had Donnie Most on, like I told you, and he couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Don's a great guy.
But
good golfer too. Pretty good golfer.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I know, because you play golf all the time.
I play golf all the time. Yeah, he's a pretty good golfer.
Are you good?
I can be very good. I can stick it up too.
Well, you know me, Scott. I would only play golf to drink beer. There's no other.
I understand that. I don't do that. I don't know how anybody does that, but God bless you.
Yeah, and that's amazing because you have never drank and you don't do drugs. You never smoke cigarettes. I mean, it's amazing, being that you grew up in Hollywood as a child actor to begin with, that you never got into any of that.
Well, no, hang on. I smoked cigarettes for a little bit. I thought that was kind of fun to do. No, I don't. I never could drink. I don't drink now. I never did drugs. My only vice was I didn't even really have any vices. I was a pretty good guy. I mean, I'm still pretty decent. My only vice now is golf.
Yeah.
But I try to live a good life. I got an 8-year-old daughter, and I love her to death, and so I have the ability to tell her when she gets older, say, hey, I never did drugs, and neither did your mother. So, I mean, not a lot of people can say that.
Well, I certainly can't.
Yeah. That's your business, John. I'm not going to go down that road.
No, but Scott, like I will say, and you are the great a poster boy for it, because I see Scott. I hang out with Scott. I mean, you look like you're freaking still 35. I mean, there's no wrinkles or anything, which is a testament to not doing drugs.
Well, you don't see me in the morning, John, but thank you very much.
All right, now we'll get into the thing. Now, obviously, this is taped, but last night we watched the third presidential debate with Donald Trump, who I know you support, and Hillary Clinton. Now, who do you think won that debate, Scott?
I'll tell you what, John, it's hard for me to say, only because I was there, and it's a much different perspective than watching it on television. I couldn't see reactions of the other candidate as one was talking. As they do on television, they do the split screen. So I think on policy and issues, I think Trump won, but I think on memorization, Hillary Clinton won.
Yeah, and like Scott, listen, I have to look, and I don't know if you know this. I mean, I'm a liberal, but I don't want to, I'm just playing, devil's advocate here, because I saw. Now, first of all, you were a speaker at the RNC convention.
Correct.
And how was that?
It was amazing. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever done. I'm an actor, and I've never done anything like that, speaking in front of, 18, 19, whatever the hell, however many people it was.
Yeah.
And to have Donald Trump ask me to do it, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've hung out with Donald, so you got to, hang out with him and everything, right? And, he's, I mean, he is a good guy when you hang out with him,
Right. He's a good guy. He's a good businessman. He's worth a lot more money than I am. He's got a lot of businesses, not that many have failed. Some have failed because that's the American way. You try and you succeed and you fail. But I just find him to be a guy. He's not a politician. He's just a guy. And I like a guy that's just going to, hey, I want to fix stuff.
Yeah, but
right? Go ahead.
Yeah, no. But I do want to ask you, and Scott, I'm not ambushing you because I'm just asking on what that you had said, because I do want to remain friends with you, but because you are a cool dude, and and you and I have a lot of laughs. But what do you think? because I know you defended him saying, those comments from Access Hollywood and said, well, that's just, any guy that we hang out with talks like that and people should grow up.
Yeah. What's your question?
So my question is, I don't know, you and I talk about, well, at least I do. I always talk about like girls I'm dating, but I don't know. I never said I want to go up to a girl and grab her pussy. You know what I mean?
Well, John, I think you probably have and you don't remember. But listen, here's the thing. Every guy talks like a guy when they're alone, and some guys say things other guys don't. I mean, I don't know how else to. I'm not defending what he said. What he said was crude, and he apologized for it. But I'd rather have a guy that talks in a crude way than someone that lies to Congress, to the FBI, and to the American people. The guy that's just talking locker room talk is infinitely more. I trust infinitely more than somebody that every time she opens her mouth, I have to figure out, what is she saying? Well, what she believes in open borders. Last night, she gave a speech where her dream is a wide open hemisphere, no borders. And last night, they asked her that question. Chris Wallace asked that question. She said, I just meant that for energy policy. Really? Come on, John. Really? Energy policy? Now, if that to me is not a black and white lie, I don't know what is, among other things. So I go with the guy that shoots from the hip, and I don't care. By the way, John, the fact that she's a woman makes no difference to me.
No, I don't think it does.
No, but she's just the wrong woman.
All right, but let me ask you, Scott, because when you say about lying, and this is one thing that I argue about on Twitter all the time, and with a lot of people, even James Woods, who I'm friends with, he's a staunch, he tweets about Hillary's lies. Let me ask you, who's the great actor? You know James Woods, right?
I know James Woods. I like James Woods very much.
No, he's great, and he's a really, really good guy, and he's a genius. He's a Mensa guy. But the one thing I have to ask you, is that factchecker.org has Trump lying way more than Hillary. So why is Hillary getting all the lying? This lying thing when it's been proven that Trump lies more.
What is Trump lying about?
Well, the things that he said, he's lied about the groping. You don't think he's lying about that?
Do I think he's lying about the groping?
Yeah, you don't think? Last night he said he doesn't know any of these women. Do you really believe that he doesn't know any of those women?
Listen, John, I don't know what. All I know is that some of them have been debunked already. Some of them have been called liars. Some of them have been paid to say the things that they're saying. So if that's the scenario, then if people are coming out being paid and lying about it, then I have to believe him. Because if that's what they're doing, then how do you not believe him? How do you believe all the women? It's like the same thing with Hillary Clinton says that all women should be listened to when there's rape allegations or whatever. Unless it's my husband. So, if you're going to close a blind eye to one area, then you got to say you got to accept the other. But again, I don't know what those women's motives are that are saying anything about Donald Trump. Some of them have been totally debunked and have been paid off. So I can't. Is that a lie? No. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a lie.
Okay. Well, I'm just I can't sit and pinpoint every single line on factchecker.org. I'm just wondering if they're pointing out a lot of the lies. Why do you think that they're like a liberal site I'm just because Hillary, obviously people think she lied. Now here's the other thing. Hillary went through the whole FBI investigation, all those hearings over Benghazi, and they haven't proven anything. At what point do you say, okay, she's innocent?
They haven't proven anything, John. But you didn't see Comey get up in front of Trey Gowdy? You didn't see that? Where Trey Gowdy asked him, Hillary Clinton said she only had one device. Is that true or false? He said that's false. Hillary Clinton said she handed in all her emails. Did she? No, she did not. Hillary Clinton said that she did not. Whatever. There was 15 questions that he asked James Comey of the FBI. That Hillary said A, and James Comey said It was B. So that to me is, she wasn't caught on anything. She was caught on everything.
But then how did?
Please go to Trey Gowdy interviewing James Comey, and then ask me that question.
All right, but
he completely told everything that she had said was not true.
But then how would you then say that the hearings didn't get? I mean, what was it? 9 hearings? Or they didn't find, they weren't able to find anything with Benghazi. Do you believe that she lied there, or do you believe that was?
John, listen. You can't come out and say that a video incited the killing of an American ambassador in Benghazi and 3 other men. You can't say that, and then you can't say it was a video and then email your daughter and say it was a terror attack. You can't do that. There are records of people, and you can't have everybody go out saying the same thing. And you tell the mothers that it was a video, and it was never a video. And that's not my opinion.
Yeah, but didn't they think that in the beginning? At first, they weren't sure.
John, she emailed her daughter that night. She emailed Chelsea that night. So, I mean, but how about this? If you're an intelligent person and you're not sure, you don't say anything. You say, we don't know. Not, it was a video and you put some poor schlub in jail, who I think is still in jail.
So then, no, look, I mean, this is what I'm getting is that because, look, obviously this country is completely polarized. So, like I say to you that factchecker.org is saying that, Trump lies more than Hillary. And then, but then you have these things. So I'm not a political reporter that's going to go and try and debunk that. But I mean,
John, listen, you and I could go back and forth all day about who said what and where and when. That's fine. You can fact check, you can call, you can cite websites. Look, for me, and I'm just a guy from Brooklyn who's in California now, who was on television for a long time. I don't want any more politicians in my life. I'm done. They're all full of it. They all are out for themselves, all of them. And you know that. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. They're all out for themselves. And I don't want a politician anymore. Now, if Hillary Clinton or whomever that side was had ideas that I agreed with, well, damn it, I would, and I trusted them, I would listen. But I want my country to be safe. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I want a border wall. I don't want to be forced to buy certain things. There's certain that I believe in the Constitution. I have certain things that I believe in, John, and I don't think that your side of the aisle believes in the things that I believe in. Well, I'm afraid to walk into a mall.
Well, all right. Well, let me ask you a question. Obviously, you think Hillary lies, but do you think Trump ever lies?
I think everybody lies. I think to say one thing one day and you say something else. Come on, John. We're human beings, for God's sake.
No, I know.
I'm not going to say Trump never lies. I can't say that. I don't know him well enough to say whether or not he ever lied in his life. I don't know. I don't have every speech he's ever made and everything he's ever said. He might have contradicted himself. That's fine.
Well, one of the big lies, I think, Scott, that, I guess, is when he was on Howard Stern, he supported going into Iraq. What was that? Hello? Oh, did Scott just hang up? Scott, I'm sorry. I thought you hung up on me. Scott?
Yeah, sorry, John.
I thought you hung up on me. I'm like, oh, no, I lost a friend now?
No. Now, what were you I got to jump off in a minute. What were you asking me?
Oh, shit. I wanted to ask you about the, I was saying, like, the big, lie, at least the denial on Howard Stern when, he did, say that we should go into Iraq. And yet he says now that he never said it, but it's on tape.
Okay, I don't think he said. I don't think he said we should have gone into Iraq. I don't think that's the quote, and I'm not sure what the quote was, John. I just don't know. And I don't think he said. I don't think he said we should go in and get rid of Saddam Hussein. I can't speak to that. I just can't.
No, it's okay. And then the other one I'll say, and then we'll move on because I want to ask you about the NFL. And then the other one is, at least like that one that. When he was walking behind Hillary during the second debate. Now, come on, everybody saw that. That's just on tape. And then
what happened?
Do you remember when Trump was walking behind Hillary during the second debate, like glooming, like, he just kept walking around as Hillary was talking. Do you remember that? Like on the second debate?
Yeah.
And then they asked him in the press room after, and he goes, "I didn't walk around. I stayed in my seat." It's just like.
Oh no, I think what he said was, and John, listen, I'm not going to defend him on everything. I didn't defend Bush. I think Bush did a lot of bad things, and I supported Bush. But I'm not going to defend anybody. But in watching that, it seemed like they all had their space, and he doesn't sit down, and she kept walking in front of him. Now, that's what I saw. I don't think he was walking over to her podium or whatever the hell she was leaning on. So, again, I mean, if you're going to hit the guy for looming, whatever. No.
I'm just saying, I'm just giving you examples of where he bends the truth a bit, but it doesn't matter.
Anyway, John, you want to continue this? Let's do it another day.
No. I just want to talk about the NFL.
What about it?
Because, I mean, this is something that we, that we agree on a little bit more. Like you have stopped watching the NFL.
Yes.
And it's because of what Colin Kaepernick has started. And look, I believe in freedom of speech, but I was a little perturbed that Colin Kaepernick on 9/11 would not, stand just out of respect for all those officers and firemen,
right.
So, I mean, but you won't watch an NFL game ever again.
Not right now. I won't. I might. Some point, but not now.
Well, do you want? And now you told me that the ratings are down, right? Because I think
I've read that the ratings down 20%. I don't know what that's attributed to, but that's what I'm reading.
Do you think the NFL should come in and just make them, have?
Oh, John, I don't know the inner workings of the NFL. All I know is I love my country. I respect my country. I know that this country has done more for other countries and people around the world than any country that has ever existed. So to not respect the flag and respect the men and women of the military, I'm not for that.
Yeah, and I understand your sentiment there, and look, because my father was a veteran of World War II, so I get. I get that. I would stand, but I get they're making a statement. They're expressing, the right to freedom of speech, but I don't necessarily agree with that whole thing.
Yep.
But now, Scott,
listen, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, because I just.
I go out of my way when I see police officers and firemen and military guys. I go out of my way to say hello to them and thank them. I mean, these guys die for us. It's insane to me.
No, I know.
I'm a stranger. They don't know me, and they're going to die for me if they have to.
No, right? I know, Scott. And look.
Person.
I am just like playing devil's advocate with you because I know you're I
know.
But I hope what.
John, I enjoy political talk, man. I get it. I love it.
All right, but here's the other thing, Scott. So who are you going to vote for this November 8th?
What's the Green Party's name, lady? Listen, I'll see you for a cigar.
Yeah, but Scott, please don't be mad at me. I just wanted to ask.
John, I love it, man. I love it.
All right, I'm going to have James Woods on soon.
Tell him I love Jimmy Woods.
All right, Scott, you are the best. Is there anything that you want to plug? Anything that you want to, any website or anything?
Yes, Donald Trump for president.
All right, Scott. Thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, brother. Be good.
All right. Scott Baio, who is, from Happy Days and Joni Loves Chachi and Charles in Charge and the movie Zapped. And he's a great guy. I didn't, look, when he asked me what is Charlie, name things that Trump lies about, it was hard for a second because there are so many things that I was like, oh, well, because there are so many things and it's just that I couldn't think of it right at the moment. But there are, I've seen just like the one I mentioned, or the two I mentioned, but I'm not like, look, I get politics. Like, for instance, I'm going to ask this guy to call on this. And by the way, Heather, let me apologize to this guy because when I had Kate Quigley on, the comedian,
yeah,
I said that this guy, Ryan, was the one who wanted to know if she did anal. It turns out it was not Ryan. and he's mad at me, calling me a liar, that I did it on purpose. And I said, no, it was an innocent mistake, because, you get so many people who, tweet me that I made an innocent mistake. And then he said, no, you didn't. You did it on purpose, which I didn't. I'm not malicious. I was just I was trying to say his name so he could hear his name, whatever.
Yeah.
But he got mad. But do you think I would ever, consciously, use somebody else's name? But it's just, but anyway, he's mad at me now because James Woods just started to follow me on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and this is after, I'm telling you, thousands and, well, not thousands, I don't know, 50 tweets that I argue with him on. Like he'll say something bad about Hillary, and then I'll post a actual factual thing, and he never ever responded. And this morning he wrote something about how Hillary's going to go to jail, and I said, well, I think Trump is going to go for Trump University, and then at some point he followed me now. So I DM'd him, and I asked him to do the podcast. He says he doesn't do any, he just likes to spout on Twitter. But then we agreed to go have a beer. Because here's the thing. Oh, that's the thing. And this guy Ryan was like, and I don't want to paraphrase. And let me just say, because this guy gets mad he was like, oh, so now you're going to be friends with James Woods after you argued? Because I have a friend from the Channel 9 show called named Scott DePace, who we argue over politics all the time. And he said to me, well, so now you beat up Scott mercilessly, and now you're going to be friends with James Woods. And I'm like, look, and I really mean this, Heather, why, just because of your political beliefs, could you not be friends with somebody? I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I'm over this. I'm just so over this year. All the celebrities are dying. Donald Trump is somehow a leading political candidate. Hillary Clinton's pantsuits are just getting worse and worse, and I just don't know what's going on. I'm ready for 2017.
Well, I think we're all sick of politics at this point.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I'm a liberal and whatever, but I don't really, you know what? I think it's the same thing as choosing, if you're a Yankees fan or a Red Sox fan or whatever your team is, you wear your freaking, your shirts and your hats and you walk around, that's your team. Anyone says anything bad about it, you'll come up with something. Like, for instance, I got a friend who's a Patriot fan. He'll say Tom Brady won 4 Super Bowls, and I'll go, well, Eli beat him twice in the Super Bowl. But, it's the same kind of, to me, it's the same thing. Now, unfortunately, with politics, there's a lot more at stake. If my son can't get married, because the Republicans disallow Hillary from naming a Supreme Court justice, so I don't know if you heard that. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, I've heard them talking about that, but there are ways around it.
Yeah, but Mitch McConnell and John McCain. First of all, they wouldn't let Obama name one because he's a lame duck president, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then now they're saying they're going to thwart any Supreme Court, nominee that Hillary, nominates. How do you, look, everybody has their chance at being, getting those 5 court justices. This is just how our system is set up. So how could you be so, adamant? And don't forget, Mitch McConnell was the guy, when Barack Obama got elected, he said, our main goal is to make sure he's a one-term president. Shouldn't your main goal be, building infrastructure? Should your main goal be helping the economy? Shouldn't your main goal be in taking care of health care? And no, his main goal is to make sure that Barack Obama is a one-term president. And that is just not, that's just not what I think this country was set up for. And it's getting worse and worse. We're more polarized, and everyone's now, now Scott and I just had a nice conversation. I don't know if he's still friends with me. I'll see when I go to the cigar bar that we hang out at. But if he is, then we're okay. I didn't want him to feel ambushed, but I told him we're going to talk about Trump. And I don't know how he could think that I'm not, a lefty.
I don't know. I thought he was actually hung up the phone on you because it just sounded too perfect.
I thought so too. I thought he hung up and he was mad at me, and I was like, crap. And, and now his lawyers are going to call and, say don't, erase the tape. But I hope not. But I mean, he said he's fine with it. He doesn't care.
I mean, he agreed to come on. He was a good sport.
Yeah. But I mean, look, Hillary hasn't been put in jail. That's what I try to say. But he said James told me or whatever. This guy, but she hasn't been put in jail. I mean, she's been like the whole Benghazi thing. She's been. I don't get it. I mean, how many? They only had like 3 hearings for the 9/11 with Bush. 3 hearings, and they had like 9 with Hillary over Benghazi. Look, every life lost is a life lost, and and we should mourn them and we should respect them. But I mean, 3,000 were lost on 9/11, and they did 3 hearings, and yet 4 were lost on on Benghazi. Not to say that's good, but they had 9, and it's with Hillary, and and you know why? Because they don't want her to be president.
I don't know. Mitch McConnell's a turtle. John McCain's an old man that wants to bitch about cable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a bunch of, old guys that have nothing better to do, so they just sit there and they're just like, I'm going to shit all over everything. That's kind of what it is at this point.
Yeah, John McCain is still trying to figure out how to set the DVR.
Still has to call Obama to do it for him.
And by the way, Donald Trump said John McCain wasn't a hero because he got caught.
Yeah, that's...
So then why is John McCain in this anti-Hillary? But I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just kind of happy that fun Barack Obama's a little bit back.
Oh yeah,
it's like senior year where he's like, it's almost over.
It's almost over, Donald. You got to stop your whining. I love that.
Because when he came in, he was like the cool president. We were like, oh my god, there's a cool young guy, and he was doing skateboard tricks and playing basketball, and he kind of did weed back in the day, and he was like, yeah, totally. And then he kind of died a little on the inside over the next couple of years, but he's finally back. He's being funny. That's the only refreshing thing that I'm really happy about. It's he's coming out of this not completely dead.
Well, yeah, no, and not only that, he is the funniest president we've ever had. I mean, this guy could be one of the best stand-ups because I wrote for Jay Leno, for the Tonight Show when Jay hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Mm-hmm. And I actually had a bit on, and which I think I told you, I have a screenshot of it, they played my bit and they cut to Obama and he's laughing. So look, I made the fucking president laugh, okay?
I mean, it'd been more of a challenge if it was Nixon, you had to make Nixon laugh. Because I don't think he could.
But I made the president laugh, and that's cool. But I'll tell you, and as great, and I'm not disparaging Jay Leno because Jay Leno's one of the greatest guys and one of the funniest comics that ever lived. But Jay had a hard time following Obama. Obama killed it so much. He's not easy to follow. That's all I'm gonna say. Look, I don't claim to be a political pundit, and nor do I want to be, but I know that was a political show. But Scott Baio is very passionate about his political beliefs. So anyway, you've been listening to the Stuttering John podcast.